Hey everybody, Michigan here. Welcome back to the channel and a new type of replay for you. Today it's going to be a how-to, and this how-to is how to set up your reticle and markers to be the most competitive and to match what everybody else has or what the class standard has. So first off, we're going to go to settings, and if you're not familiar, because maybe not everybody is, you're going to go to the top left of your screen and you're going to click that little gear icon. Now you can also do that by pressing escape. Now at the top we're going to have settings. Now we're going to start going through here. General, we're going to kind of go through. This stuff doesn't matter. Don't worry about the chat. It's all entirely up to you. This is just my settings. Same with battle communications. This is up to you as well. Same with this. All of this stuff on the left is, don't worry about that. I'm just going through everything so you know I didn't miss any of it. Battle interface. This is up to you as well. However, you really want to do the times 16 and times 25. Doesn't matter, if you use it or not. It's always good to have. And the rest of the stuff, the whole lock is nice to have. That means when you press X, especially when you're in a TD, you can look around behind you without your whole tank swinging around. Don't worry about this. Smooth camera view, tactical view, all of that stuff. Don't worry about it too much. Again, it's going to be all up to you. If you want to see how I have my thing set up, here you go. This is what I believe is the most competitive. Oh, yep, preferred sniper mode zoom level. That's if you're going to press shift. It's going to bring you straight to times 8. Now, this stuff I really like. Always, always, always. So that you can see around on. The more information, the better. Let's just put it that way. So, the HP and team panels. This way you can see your team's HP in as many ways as possible. So you can see it on the minimap, you can see it on the panels, you can see it on the top of your screen, and you can see it by looking at the tanks around you. That's 4 ways to identify it. There's no reason to not have these on here. Now, expandable or enable expanded minimap features. This is nice. I like to blow mine up a decent amount. And then minimap transparency. Now, I have mine right there at about just under half. You could call that 2/5. And that's so that I can see through my minimap in case there's a tank coming up behind me. But it's not so transparent that I'm struggling to actually identify key features on the minimap. Now, this stuff here, I put everything on here. You need these checked for the most part. Draw circles are important. Maximum, all of these circles are super important. Super important. Now, garage camera, who cares about that? Graphics, this is all up to you. If you're having problems with graphics, I do dynamic adjustment. Just keeps my frame rate good. I'd rather not have frame rate suffering, so then I can have better graphics. If my internet connection starts to stutter a little bit, it'll drop the graphics and keep my frame rate up. Frame rate is everything here. You don't want to be lagging. Let's just put it that way. This here, again, this is how I have mine set up. For custom settings, color adjustment, I like my saturation up. It kind of just keeps everything bright for me, but again, that's all preference. Sound. Now, this is pretty important. Now, there is some other ways to do it. I keep my master volume pretty low, and the reason for that is sound doesn't have a huge impact here. What you don't want is for your gun going off to mess up where your caller is telling you to go. No, that's why I've turned up music in garage and music in battle. You should definitely turn these off, especially in clan wars. Any external distraction, you can remove. This is a free way to increase how competitive you are. Now, voice notifications, I don't know why those are up a little high. Vehicles, this is a positive and a negative. Now, especially with effects too. Because effects, you could theoretically turn this all the way up and then hear vehicles around you, enemy vehicles, breaking buildings or knocking down trees. However, whenever you do that, it's going to be incredibly loud for you as well, especially when you need to hear an ever-changing call. Voice chat. Just turn this off. We use TeamSpeak, especially for clan wars. You don't want to have somebody who's got voice chat going in-game because they have Q for both, right? That's the standard. And now you're double hearing them, and we're trying to get rid of that. It's so easy to turn off. Don't worry about that. And master volume, I keep pretty low. I just want enough so I can hear my game. I don't want it to be silent. But I also, right, because that's not enjoyable, but should not overdo the call. The call should trump your game volume. Now, controls, this is all up to you. I like to use my switch mode for EBR players. Again, all up to you. I use my down mouse because I don't want to have to reach over and press X or take my hands off of the WASD when I'm going 95 miles an hour. So I only use one mouse button out of my two because I have small hands. Don't judge me. And it's that one. That way I can easily switch. Sensitivity, all going to be up to you. Don't use these. I mean, if you've already gotten used to it, whatever. But if you haven't, don't start. Reticle. Again, this is all up to you here. I love to have the armor penetrator on these. I think that that's the best way to do it. Always have the armor penetrator. Some of them don't, but I would highly advise you do that. Artillery, all of that stuff. Outlining. Now, this is a pretty key one. This is how I have it. Now, look at the difference between standard and simplified. There's standard, there's simplified. Now, if you're not familiar, look at what it's outlining. Standard's outlining the machine guns, all of that, the antenna. Now, if you do simplified, it's only going to outline what you can actually cause damage to. So shooting these machine guns up here isn't going to do you any good. And you know that because it's not outlined. Now, if you take a look at the penetrable area, I take textured. That's just what I personally like. Now, you could also, that's what I would recommend. Now, the reason is it definitely looks a little bit different. And it's a little more clear because if you look at what the fill is, that's what you can't shoot past. And it makes much more sense to me that the solid area you can't shoot through when the dotted area you can. Now, the dotted area means you can shoot through whatever obstacle is in the way. So in this case, it's the pallet, the boxes, and the barrel. You're going to lose penetration, but you might damage the tank. Anything solid, you're just not getting through. You cannot shoot through it. It's a solid object. So, again, this is going to reduce game performance, but I would highly advise markers. This is now what I definitely would use. Auto aim indicator is good. Health indicator you definitely want. It's going to be helpful so you can actually see the bar. Player name, you want the player name as well. Because sometimes the caller will call out tanks, but if they have 5 IS-7s all in front of you, they're going to call out hit points, and they might call out the player name as well. Vehicle model, same reason. Here, you don't need to worry about that. That's just extra garbage. Everything you're playing is going to be tier 10. Vehicle icon, there's no point. You're not going to recognize the vehicle based off of its icon. It also says Tiger right there. Now, vehicle health, this is crucial. You need to have HP left, preferably over total. Now, you can do just HP left. I prefer to do over total, but that's going to be up to you. That way I know if he's using, it's easier for me to tell if he's using, any sort of equipment that might boost his health. Again, as long as you have HP left, it's fine. Don't hide it. Please, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. HP left over total is my recommendation. Now, the same thing's going to go for your alternative. There's no reason why you shouldn't have anything like that. Now, same with damage received. That's nice to see because you know how much your allies hit them for. But again, that's not as big of a deal as this HP left. Battle notifications. Here's what I have. You can have standard. I prefer advanced, obviously, because this way you can help your caller out by telling them where you got shot from. If you have this, right, what good does that do you? You got hit by a tank over there. Is it an EBR? Is it a T-110E3 camped in a pocket? I don't know. This way, you do know. Now, friendly fire, I like to have as well, in case your teammate shoots you. That way you don't mistake it for a blind shot from the enemy. Critical hits, nice to see as well. It'll help you know if you got tracked without you having to look. Same with this. You don't really need an animation. I don't bother with it, but that's what I have. Now, battle report, all of this. We go back down on battle notifications. Team HP bar, again, crucial. You can see if you have an overmatch overall in the game. Pretty crucial for callers. HP difference, this is really nice to see. Because again, if you don't want to do the math, you can look over on the left and know exactly how much you're up or down by. Now remember, this is only, you can only see this, or this number is only indicative of what is within your render range. If there are tanks outside of your render range, it's not going to help you. So what you can do, callers, or whoever's the arty strike specifically, every now and then, swipe around the map with the arty strike, because that increases your render range, and it's going to update that. Just open the arty strike, move around the map a bunch with it. Again, it's really quick, especially to your tanks that are in the middle of combat, and then it'll update. Here, you don't really need this. I do it because just for randoms. Now, display missions, do not display. This is up to you, again, and same with the progress. This has to do with random battles. Map border. Up to you, obviously. I would definitely display it. Don't do the do not display because otherwise you're going to try and take positions that aren't there. Look, and it says it right there. Hiding the map border may result in disorientation in battle. So I do wall or dotted line. I might actually swap it up and do dotted line now. Now, additional highlighting. I don't actually know what this does, so therefore I'm not going to mess with it. Log. This is nice to see as well. Helps you kind of know your performance. But again, up to you. Doesn't really have much to do with your team's win. It's nice for you to keep track, but calling out that you've gotten 1,200 spotting doesn't really do your team much good. Calling out how much, or you know what, it could, because you could relay to your caller that you think this is a good position. It's all up to you. It's battle event. Again, up to you. I just have everything cranked on here. This way I can keep track. Hey, they already shot me a little while ago. He might hit me again. Direction indicator, we already went over this. So I hope this covers everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you need to, you can play this again on your phone and then sort of see what I have. If you want to mimic this, great. If you have other things you like to do, like maybe you have different reticles, then feel free to let me know as well. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.